Hello guys, and welcome back to Next, an update show by Laser Media Films.
If you can't already guess it, what are we talking about? Video games.
Video games, old school paddles, what.
Definitely.
If you ever played on this, you're probably pretty cool.
Yeah. So we like to hit it up with our Super Nintendo N64 in here, right here in the studio. You know, we got it right here. Sometimes we like to hit it up. One time, me and a couple of my buds, we stayed up and played Super Mario World, and we beat it that night, and it was really fun. You know, old video games, old school. It takes the cash.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I enjoy new video games a lot.
Yep, Skyrim. You got lots of things. Age of Empires 3, whatever. You know.
Looking back on like old school.
StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft. We got Dungeon Siege 2. Wait. Nope. The original Dungeon Siege right here. Don't have 2. 3 just came out a little while ago. And bet not very many people knew about this. The Hobbit game. That thing, it was made a long time ago. And it's a fun game.
Yeah. So video games, we're going to kind of cover probably all the genres you can think of, but one we're going to try and focus on more because we have talked about MMOs and RPGs a lot in the past. We've talked about tons of things. We've talked about some scrollers, but we've talked a tiny bit about RTSs, but the one we have not really looked at all is the FPS. We don't ever talk about FPS, and
adding to that, we can add TPS, which some people might not know. What's TPS? It's not that's TFS. Ha! Almost threw you off there. TPS is third-person shooter. Goes along with first-person shooters, but it's different, and it can be different in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. Do you want to talk about the differences between FPS and TPS?
Yeah, first-person shooters, you're of course in first person, so you just see your hands and guns. Sometimes they get it a little weird on the angle because it seems like your hands are right in front of your face, so you're running around like this.
One game that does that really good, I feel, is like the Arma 2, Arma 3, because I'm pretty sure it literally, when you're in first person, it literally takes the view from your character. Like, it literally just plants the camera right there because you can look around and just see everything, and it does a really good job of getting that first person feel.
Yeah, not making it ridiculous where your hand's right up by your face or things like that. A lot of the old PS2 games had that problem, and it made you feel a little weird for the first little while until you got used to it.
Even some games now, like if you really get that angle on the gun, you realize the person's holding it like right here. And they're not even like zoomed in. That's supposed to be hip firing, you know. You realize these people are holding. It's just some things haven't come into complete, you know.
So some of the big first-person shooters out there, of course, the one everybody always talks about, and there's millions of these games, Call of Duty. Call of Duty series. Everybody, it's kind of like that one thing. Some people who are like, "Oh, I'm so pro gamer," they're like, "Yeah, I'm pro gamer, I don't play Call of Duty. Call of Duty's like too weird." No, Call of Duty is a perfectly fine game.
It's the people that play it that can make it terrible.
Yes. There are people who literally go so hardcore on that game that it makes my head spin because they will go with ridiculous amounts of kills and probably 0 deaths.
One thing I love is, if you ever ask me something, Battlefield 3 or Battlefield franchise versus Call of Duty franchise, obviously, myself, it's obvious, I would defend in a debate Battlefield franchise. I don't know what it is, if it's the not as known factor or probably the more realistic factor. I just find the Battlefield franchise a lot more enjoyable to me, myself.
The two games, I feel like it's almost unfair to compare them because they're built on a completely different model.
Yes.
Because Call of Duty is built to run around, shoot, kill people, get that quick reaction time, crazy jump, shoot that guy, boom, 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 crazy fast, always moving, always, or you get the sniper who's friggin' quick scoping, I don't even know how they do that. and it's just crazy. You're going quick, things are going crazy. Matches are like 9 minutes long. Whereas you compare it to a Battlefield game, there's a lot more strategy. You work with 3 or 4 guys. When you play Call of Duty,
you're placed in a squad of other people.
In Call of Duty, do you run with other people? Do you literally work as a team very often? Not very much, because you work as an individual operative trying to get as many kills as possible at most oftentimes. Until you play like Search and Destroy, you can get some tacticalness in there, and actually there are some game modes where you actually have to get a little bit tactical in Call of Duty because of the no respawn time in Search and Destroy, or Hardpoint with the time to respawn and things like that. But honestly, it doesn't get to the tactical level of Battlefield, and it's built on a different scale. Battlefield has ginormous maps. The matches last way longer. They're not an 8-minute match where you run around.
Usually, I play matches that are over a half hour long.
It's
trying to do these things, yeah. And like sniping, you have to have a lot more patience. You have to be a lot better at it too. In Battlefield 3.
It's because they've added a lot more factors such as bullet drop and things like this, wind resistance. It adds a whole new different tactical factors that don't even make it comparable to Call of Duty, because it's unfair, because Call of Duty's game model is not supposed to be like that. It's built to run and shoot and be crazy and intense. And Battlefield is built to be tactical and precise and more immersive in a sense, but also just as, Call of Duty is no less fun than Battlefield in its own respects. If you want to run around and get a crazy adrenaline rush from a quick, fast, hard-paced game, play Call of Duty.
One thing I love about Battlefield 3 is the only way you really communicate with other people is is through the chatting. I really like the fact that there is no voice chat, because you don't get those annoying kid gamers that bug the crap out of you, because you can hide the chat box and just not even look up and read it or whatever. So you don't have to worry about that, but teams still work together in ways without communications. It's really cool to be able to do that without having voice chat, And but like PlanetSide 2, it's like an even bigger Battlefield 3. And you've got that team, so you got like platoons, but you got proximity, so the further away you are from the person, the less you can hear them, And that thing is massive team play. I play that, and just tons of just like strategy just pours out from these really intense people that get into it. I play it for fun. Some people play it like really seriously, but I find it fun to play with those people because you get that feel. But I honestly don't want to be one of those people. Yeah,
if you have no clue what he's talking about PlanetSide 2, if you've heard of it. It's on Steam. It's really
free.
Cool.
You don't have to pay for anything. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. It's mostly customization stuff. I mean, and who cares?
Props to them. They're good. Then you've got third-person shooters that we can talk about a little more. Arma 2 and Arma 3 he brought up. Arma is pretty cool. It's on Steam. I think it's you have to pay for it, but it's a pretty good game. It has a third-person and a first-person setting, and it's very, very realistic. If you guys didn't know about DayZ, it branches off right now. It's a mod that branches off from Arma and uses its stuff.
And the standalone is going to come out soon. The alpha, I think, comes out now, about something like that. But yeah. So other third-person shooters, like Ghost Recon Online, that's free. I haven't played it, but I mean, like, I've watched some stuff about it. It looks pretty cool, It's third-person, it's Ghost Recon, but you're fighting other people, It's not just this first-player experience like usual. And a third-person game that I love is The Last of Us. That I watched a walkthrough of that, of this guy. It was like a perfect walkthrough. There wasn't all that much narration from him, He'd throw his thoughts out there sometimes.
Yeah, natural walkthrough.
I just watched through that walkthrough, and that game was amazing. I mean, I'm sitting here watching a video game, and I was getting emotional towards the characters that died. That game. And it's only for PS3 too,
So if you have a PS3, check out The Last of Us, because apparently it's probably really cool. I have not, I've seen tons of commercials and it looks really cool. It looks like a realistic kind of zombies types game. Probably lots of survival and fighting other people kind of things, and probably a very interesting storyline to look like it.
Very, very interesting. It was awesome.
1 second.
But,
Pause.
we left the light off. We left all the lights off.
I was like, why is it so dark looking in that picture? Oh well. It'll just suddenly get brighter. Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2. Sorry for the intermission. We're back.
We accidentally left the lights off, but they're on now, so you get better lighting.
Yep. Hopefully, we're trying out new more lighting, so that it looks a little bit more cheery in here, not so gloomy and dark.
Now we can move on to the differences between first person and third person.
So, first person shooter, they usually base themselves more on speed games, shorter games like Call of Duty, or on very tactical kind of work with other player games. There's a lot of things like that, and they do a lot with having accuracy in them, because with the first person shooter you can really get into how you're aiming, because you're right there, shoot, and they rely on how quick your reflexes are if you get into combat, because you just reflex, shoot them, not a lot of people just pull off the hip fire 24/7 with an M60 on Call of Duty or on, some light machine gun on Battlefield or whatever. People scoping in is something you do 24/7 in those games. You don't really pay attention to it probably all the time, but a lot of your kills are probably done while aiming down the sights.
The difference of that in third person shooters is a lot of sneaky covert games are third person, like Splinter Cell. It's all third person, a lot more of those games are third person games. Again, The Last of Us, that has a lot of sneak in it too, along with other stuff, but again, it's that sneaky factor. You're in third person, so it's that sneaking ability is better. It does get the immersion of it a little less because you have more to see, but a lot of it works out better than in a first person game.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, who wants to play a first person sneaky game when you can't see anything, You can't see your surroundings,
Yeah.
And the shooting, they have aiming down the sights or whatever, but it's a little different, because it's a third person, it just kind of zooms in a little bit, and you do that, but it's not the same as like a first person shooter. It's not working on the accuracy and aiming down the sights, You fight a lot more without doing that too,
Yeah, see, with third-person shooters, they probably have to focus a lot more on the world around the characters, because you're going to be seeing a lot more of the world. Whereas in a Call of Duty world, you just get what is in your first-person view. If you're not going to be stopping and looking at every single corner in a map, they're not going to have to pay attention to every single corner in the map. When you're in a third-person view, you are going to see everything around your character a lot, because you're going to be in a third-person camera setting looking around the character and seeing around the character. So you're going to have to put a lot more attention into the world that the character is in. And because of the way that it's not first-person, you don't get the first-person immersion, they're going to add probably a lot more story elements to a game that make it more immersive that way, or more elements to the world that make it more immersive that way. So the audio might be better, there might be different things that are added on to a third person to make it more in there, because any game that doesn't immerse you won't capture you and won't make you want to buy it.
Yes, I've played games that just you don't really get immersed into, and you're just kind of like, this is kind of boring, Let's not do this, And it's just that extra push to get in there, it's nice.
Yeah. So another kind of genre we don't talk about very often, is a fun one though, is RTS. You guys know about StarCraft, Age of Empires 3.
There's like Age of Mythology.
Tons of different RTSs out there. Supreme Commander, if you've ever heard of that one.
Command and Conquer is a free. RTS. It's not on Steam. Well, I mean there's something on Steam.
Yeah.
But I know on Origin, which is what Battlefield 3 runs off of, they have it on there, and you can go to the website. It's free and stuff. And just these RTS games of.
If you guys don't know what RTS is, it stands
really?
for real-time strategy.
Yeah. It's all those games that are Age of Empires, StarCraft. Up above, you get a sky view. It's like you're commanding everyone. You know, you build your kingdom, your city, your civilization, and then you build your army and you go and you fight other people.
Mm-hmm.
And
it takes a lot more of kind of thinking
and attention.
Yeah. Attention, thinking, all that kind of stuff. Because if you've ever played an online match in any of these kind of games, building up an army as quickly as possible and things like that, it's just paying attention to your resource income and all these different things you have to manage in your head all at the same time to be able to be successful to pull off anything in that kind of game. It's kind of, you send guys out, they gather the resources. Those resources you use to build this, which then with that thing you build these guys. And things like that. And you got to focus on, well, I want to upgrade these guys to be stronger than his guys so I can kill them better, And it literally is a strategy game, and it's in real time. So you literally have to sit there and wait while it prepares and trains your troops, and then they come out. They're longer games. I've had matches that go up to 2 hours in online matches, and they're ridiculous. We use up all the resources. There's multiple intense clashes, and it's crazy. So, any of your experiences in real-time strategies?
Sometimes I play Age of Empires, and those matches go on for a while. Yeah, a couple hours, and
I think one thing that's kind of fun to do with real-time strategy games is if you just put because they have a bot ability where they have computers that you can play against, and you just set them on really easy difficulties and just explore the game and see all the different models and characters, because there really is quite a bit in these games, and it's really cool. If you see the new StarCraft 2 that's out there, if you put it on ultra graphics and literally look at the things, it's ridiculous how much detail. It's like, I can't even imagine how meticulous it would be to design each and every single one of these characters, from concept art to the individual animation. And they make hundreds of these things and just send them out to go die. It's crazy because there's so much detail in every little thing, and you're just like, but that's just the thing that makes this guy, and I don't really care about thing. And then if you look at it, these game designers must put so much time into it, and kudos to them, because they make really cool games, from Command and Conquer to even Civilization, if you've ever heard of that.
Oh yeah,
that's a pretty cool one too.
I think that just about wraps it up for this week. We'll see you next time on Next, when we talk about more things.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, leave them down in the comment below section. We will be glad to get to them and read them. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and share.
It goes a long way and only takes a second. See you next time.
On Next.